Welcome to Response-Able Parenting, the podcast that shows you how to parent in alignment to your emotions, needs, and goals versus your programming, bad advice, and let's face it, outdated strategies that just don't work. You'll get in the trenches support on nervous system and emotional regulation, critical mindset shifts, stronger communication strategies, and more. In this podcast, you'll gain transformational tools that take you from reacting to every frustration to responding with clarity, regulation, and finally setting the example you desire for your kids. I'm Becky Jennings, your new parenting coach, and this is the Response-Able Parenting podcast. Let's get into it. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Response-Able Parenting. My name is Becky Jennings. Welcome to the podcast. My goodness, it has been a very, very long summer. Today is back to school day. I have been full-blown 100% parent for the last 8 weeks. And I will say that there have been previous summers where I was just like, could not wait for back to school. It was just a daily rolling challenge. And I will say that this year, this particular summer, was arguably the best summer I have had with both of my boys. It was just such a different energy, such a better experience. And both of my kids, but specifically my ADHD son, which, as many of us know here, like unscheduled time, just endless opportunity, no real structure can lead to a lot of challenges, like a lot of challenges. And so we were able to really communicate more effectively. We were able to practice a lot of the things that we've been working on. And so we both came away from this summer feeling really solid. Yes, were there challenges? Yes, were there ruptures and fights? Yes, did we have all of the things? Absolutely. How can you not? We are 100% human still. And the progress we made was really, really solid. So I wanted to share one of those big aha progress moments because this has been a pattern that I've identified, but I haven't gotten to the crux of it. I haven't gotten to why it is driving both of us nuts and why we can't get out of it. And it's been one of those things that I hear it in the community. I've been researching it and I'm like, what is it? Why can't I nail this one on the head? And how do I actually support myself in these moments, support my kid in these moments, and support you in this community? Because this is one of those patterns that like it butts up against respect in such a way. And I know across the board, one of the things I hear virtually every day, if not multiple times a day, is this feeling of disrespect in the way in which our kids talk to us, the way they kind of snap back, the way if it doesn't go exactly how they want, when they want, from whom they want it, the way they saw it in their head. And it just can come out so rude that it can feel really disarming to us and it can feel so disrespectful. And so then we come down even harder because we need to teach respect by, doing the authoritarian practices. So I wanted to break down a pattern so that maybe it opens or it clears the lenses for you in a way that it did for me. Because once it unlocked in my brain, I was like, oh my God, we've been doing it wrong this whole entire time. So I wanted to share this with you because I think it's really, really important. You know that moment when you ask your child with ADHD to do literally anything. It's like literally anything. Hey, can you run upstairs and grab anything off the counter? Hey, will you go get your water bottle so we can put it in your backpack? It's time for dinner. Can you come to the dinner table? Can you let the dog out? Can you go get the broom so I can sweep up this mess? Can you turn down the volume? Literally any request, anything. And we get back told what they're doing, or what they're going to do first. That happens all the time inside of my community. I hear this from parents all the time. Like, they don't tell me sure. They don't say okay. They don't say yes. They don't even, for God's sakes, they don't even say no. What they say is, I'm just doing this, or I'm doing this first. Like, oh, the one that drives me the most insane is like, hey, it's time to brush your teeth. I'm putting my pajamas on, or I'm just getting a book, or it's like, I didn't ask what you were doing, and I certainly didn't ask for commentary. I'm just letting you know it's time to start bedtime, right? And we can get really, really, really reactive and defensive in those moments, not because we are incapable of handling, a little bit of pushback, but because we've literally heard from the top of the morning down for like 12 straight hours what they're doing instead of what we just asked them to do. So here is what I noticed. I asked my son to go upstairs and grab his nighttime pill, right? Like, head upstairs, go grab your nighttime pill. It's time to get ready for bed. So he was upstairs, and it must have been like a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And I was like, hey, when you're on your way down, can you bring, because there was like some socks left at the stairs. And I was like, can you bring your socks down? I'll throw them in the laundry. Something so benign, right? It was so like, I wasn't attacking him. I wasn't making an evaluation or judgment on whether or not he'd gotten his pill or any of that stuff. I was just like, here's the next thing that I'd like you to participate in. And he was like, I'm getting my pill. And I don't know if the heavens opened up and was like, Becky, I'm giving you a gift and I'm going to have you learn something right now, because none of it had changed, but something sparked within me. And I was like, wait. Are you saying that you're not coming down, or are you just letting me know what you're doing? And he stopped for a second. He's like, I was just letting you know I was getting my pill. And I was like, are you still intending to get the socks and come downstairs? He's like, yeah. And something cracked open within me that I was like, for years, when I've been asking you to do something and you've been telling me what you're doing instead, what has been building up inside of me is this frustration, intolerance over being told what you're doing, because the way in which you're telling me that the way in which you're telling me what you're doing feels like you're telling me you're not going to do the next thing, or you have no intention of starting what I've just asked, or you're so far from it that it's not going to happen. It sounds to me like a refusal of the next request. It sounds to me like the kickoff of a fight. It sounds to me like avoidance. It sounds to me like all of this negative. Sounds to me like you're being very defensive. It sounds to me like we are now in a reactive trap. That's what it sounds like to me. And when I asked him point blank, are you letting me know what you're doing because you want me to know? Or are you telling me that you're not going to do this next part of the process? He literally looked at me like I had 75 heads. And he was like, no, I was just telling you what I'm doing. If you're a parent to an ADHD child, you know what your day looks like. You're correcting from the moment they wake up. Get dressed, eat your breakfast, stop hitting your brother. Oh my goodness, put your shoes on. I literally just said, put your shoes on. And you're patient. You really, really are. Until you hit that tipping point where you've said the same thing 40 times and something snaps. You yell, they react, you see their face, and the guilt is immediate. You are not a bad parent. You are simply a parent who needs a better system. And I'm hosting a free live masterclass called Stop Yelling. I'm going to show you exactly why the cycle keeps repeating and how to actually break it. Not with more strategies, but with a system that works for the way that your child is wired. It's free, it's live, spots are limited, so go into the show notes right now and save your seat. I'll see you there. It was such an eye-opening experience, because here's what I have extrapolated since that moment. Number one, the reason that he says it in the way that he does is because we constantly get into a reactive loop in these moments. That I say, hey, it's time to do XYZ. He tells me what he's doing in this moment. I hear it as, dang it, that kid has decided to not, again, be helpful. That kid has told me once again that he's not going to do what I have asked him to do. Now we're hopping into that reactive trap, and I hear defensiveness. I hear justification. I hear explanation of why he can't take the next step that I'm asking. But that's not what he's saying. So there was a complete misalignment of understanding from both our parts. So he's kind of coming in with a defensive posture because he knows, uh-oh, we're heading into a reactive trap. And so his nervous system is braced for maybe a little bit more authoritarian coming in, maybe a little bit more frustration coming in, maybe a little bit more disappointment in my tone coming in. And not just me, but like every family member who experiences this. So he's kind of braced, but his way in which he's kind of explaining this to us is coming across in a tone that, again, being protective of self, protecting his nervous system, protecting his emotions from, oh, God, here we go again. And it's the pattern that he knows all too well, right? He's used to saying this, but we're both speaking at each other in these moments, and we're not finding a way out. The only way out is kind of like hopping back into demand, right? Hopping back into demand and really kind of not giving an inch to mess up, not giving an inch to have some creativity or flexibility on any part because we're both so exhausted with the pattern. He's exhausted with maybe too many requests coming his way, and he doesn't know how to handle it appropriately. So that was something that we figured out and we have to work on. I'm exhausted with the defensive posturing and the kind of just telling me what you're doing versus at all being collaborative or at all giving me any window or insight into the fact that, yeah, I'm on board with the plan. I'm just wrapping this up. And because there was such a misalignment from both of us, we both were hyper reactive to this pattern and we both couldn't figure out a way through. I share this also to let you know that, like, even though I've been doing this for half a decade, I still find myself in reactive patterns. And so what we did is we went back to the drawing board of this pattern. We kind of broke it down together. We're like, okay, so when I ask you to do something, like, what are you hearing from me? And he's kind of like, I'm just hearing like another thing that you're asking me to do. And I'm like, okay, so when you hear me asking you to do another thing, does it make you angry? Does it make you upset? Does it make you like, what's going on for you? And he's like, well, I'm in the middle of something, right? Could be anything. It could be in the middle of doing the thing that I just asked him to do. He's like, I'm in the middle of doing something. And it's like, I don't have time to finish it. You're asking me to do the next thing. And I just tell you that I'm doing that thing. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you what's happening. Or sometimes he's telling me what he wants to be doing instead. Or maybe like the bedtime teeth brushing example of like, I say it's time to go brush your teeth. And he's like, I'm going to go get my pajamas on instead. I hear, I'm not coming to brush my teeth. That's what I physically hear in my body is, no, I refuse to do what you're asking me to do. I'm not going to go brush my teeth. I'm actually going to go pick out books instead. And to me, I'm like, how disrespectful of you. How ungrateful. I've done all these things for you today. All I'm asking you to do is brush your teeth. And he, in his body, is going, well, I'm in my bedroom. The books are right here. Let me just wrap this up real fast and then I'll brush my teeth. And honestly, we looked at each other as we were going through this. We were literally sitting in his bed, getting ready for bed. And I was like, oh my gosh, we mapped it all out. And he and I both like jaws on the ground. We were like, we have been speaking two totally different languages and it's both been making us so angry. And we both haven't figured out how to get through it. And we both were sitting there going, oh my God, you're not telling me what to do. And I'm like, from his perspective, it's not like do all these things now, do them right now in succession. Right. So he was like, "Oh, what a relief to not know that you're literally wanting me to stop doing the last thing you asked and start doing the next thing you asked." And what a relief for me to hear from him to say, "Oh, mom, I actually do plan on doing what you're doing. I was just letting you know why I wasn't there right now." Oh my gosh. The amount of like resistance that we could have avoided should we just look at the pattern a little bit more clearly and spend a little bit more time trying to figure it out. But, anyways, the heavens parted. I got some download information and we were able to work it out. So, here is what we figured out. And I'm going to walk you through. So, first of all, the lens in which I was viewing his responses was inherently negative. It just straight up was. I was just hearing the word no in his explanation of what he was currently doing when it wasn't a no. And so I tied that in my body to feeling disrespected. And the sensations of feeling disrespect whenever I would have that in my body would signal a reactive cue in my body to come down more as an authoritarian and start to demand behavior, which would quote unquote show me respect, right? I was starting to demand things, which was then really widening that reactive gap because in his reality, he was giving me information that he thought would be useful in that moment to as a 9-year-old brain, right? Telling me, "Hey, I'm actually doing this right now." He wasn't saying no ever. Literally had never said the word no, but I interpreted it because of this pattern and how deep it went and how long it's been going on. So I would just hear no. Intrinsically, I would just hear no, even if it wasn't a no. And the way in which he had been saying what he was doing in the moment was inherently defensive because he's been protecting himself, embracing from this pattern. Ah, so we both took a step back and we both were like, how can we fix this? Right? First of all, on my side of the street, which is let's not mince words, right? We are asking our kids to do a lot bigger of the lift on these really annoying behavioral patterns, and they physically and mentally can't do it. We actually need to do a bigger lift. Is it annoying? Yes. Would it be wonderful if we could snap our fingers and there was an easier solve? Yes. But we need to do a better job of cleaning up our reactive side of the street. And so my job now is when I make a request, I can also add on to that. Are you in the middle of something right now that you need to wrap up? I can also add, when do you think you can do this? If there is urgency, I can be better at saying, hey, this is actually top priority now. I do need you to stop doing what you're doing and move over here. Can we move to that right now? Right? I can be much clearer in my language. I can be much softer in my tone where I make a request. I can add play to those requests to inherently start that off a little bit better for him. And then he has said on his end, when he hears it, he can say, okay, I'm going to do that, which we've been practicing. And oh my God, does it make all the difference in the world? He's like, okay, I'll be right there. I'm just wrapping up blank. Or I'll be there in 2 minutes. I'm finishing up this. Or, oh, I was just about to start this. Can that wait a few minutes? The level that this has transformed our day to day. And by the way, we figured this out like 2 weeks ago, and it has monumentally shifted how we've interacted in the last 2 weeks. Just being able to soften my end, which then lowers his defensive so he doesn't feel like he has to be argumentative or protective when I'm asking him to do something. And then because I've lowered my tone and temperature, because I'm viewing the whole situation from a different lens, because now I'm not sitting here going, oh my gosh, this kid's saying no, yet again, how disrespectful. I'm clocking the signal in my body and I'm saying, wait, 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 this is the pattern we just figured out. I have more logic and insight now. Thank you so much, nervous system, for trying to save my life and protect me from this moment. Take a couple deep breaths, push up against the wall, and ask the clarifying questions. Do you need more time? Are you able to do this now? Were you in the middle of something? When can this happen? Like all of those things, first of all, build autonomy in our child so that they're not constantly feeling like we're demanding of them. It's also building in effective communication because we want them to also be able to ask somebody because you know how they want it, when they want it, how they want it, exactly at the way they visioned it in their head. So we want to build in through modeling being able to be patient with somebody when you make a request of them, right? Just modeling that alone is massive for them. And so we're starting to build this process. And now my son will literally say, okay, I'm just finishing up this, or I'll grab that on my way, into the next room. Or, can I have like 5 more minutes because I was just doing this? I'm learning how to be more flexible in the timing of things so that I can start to build in that skill for him. So I can start to build in that confidence in him. And so we have less tension. So if your child tells you what they are doing after you've made a request of them, see if this is what's going on. Have this conversation with them because this was eye-opening for both of us. We were both interpreting each other in such different ways than both of us intended. So this conversation was really, really, really helpful for us. And then, offer them, like ask them if they would like to share, like, Mom, this is actually how I'd really like you to make a request when we find ourselves in here, if I can have 2 minutes, that would feel really helpful, right? Give them an opportunity to allow to tell you what they need in that moment. I was able to say, I need you to say a version of like letting me know that you heard me and then letting me know if it's a yes that you can do it. Like I just need to know that it's a yes so that I can kind of take it off of my plate and I don't have to be like thinking too much about this or standing over you and watching you, which you don't like either, right? So overall, just a massive win for the team to identify a really frustrating pattern and to be able to talk about it without trying to fix him or trying to force his developing brain to have like much more effective communication than it could at the time. And to be able to listen without criticism and be really curious about where that's coming from helped so much. I hope this conversation was really helpful because I know that disrespect part about kind of the tone in which they clap back on some of our requests can feel really dominating. And this really helped me understand that in a bigger way. It also helped me kind of wipe off the smudges on the lens in which I was viewing him through. And I, all in all, feel like this was a massive leap forward in our communication. So now we can just do a quick like, oh, hey, what did you mean by that? Are you moving in this direction? Are you going to be moving in this direction? Oh, yeah, Mom, all I was saying is I was just going to wrap this up. Sounds great, buddy. Got it. Moving on. Oh my God, what a weight off of our shoulders. So wanted to share that. As always, I will be as transparent as I possibly can about some of these really nuanced ADHD moments that can kind of leave us feeling at a loss and feeling hopeless and feeling like, will this pattern ever end? And every insight that I get, I will be sharing. I'm so grateful to my son for being open enough to give his insights because he actually has said, like, if this helps other kids not feel alone, I want them to hear this too. So he's been really wonderful and open about it. And I'm really grateful that he's willing for me to share this information because he knows it helps. So just wanted to share that aha moment that we had a couple weeks back. And as always, I will be sharing as much as I humanly can. So thank you for joining me again, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you for listening to the Response Able Parenting Podcast. If you like what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe.
If you know someone who would benefit from this podcast, I'd be honored if you'd share this episode with them. Until next time, know that you are enough, you are capable, you've made it through all of your hardest days, and we will keep growing on this parenting journey together. This podcast was produced by Kim Kelty and myself, Becky Jennings, and edited by the Kelty Method, Branding and Podcasting.